Welcome to Raw Podcast. My name is Scott Harrigan, and we have a new episode, which is going to be reoccurring each week with the one and only Steve Duffy. Steve, how you doing today?
Very good, thanks, Scotty. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Awesome.
And what we're going to do is, what's on your mind this week, Duff?
Oh, boy,
and it can go to whatever. We're just going to give Steve the mic and just let him go nuts. And if he's right, he's right. If he's wrong, he's wrong. If you have an opinion, whatever. But what's on your mind this week, Mr.
Well,
Duffy?
my mind, I guess, mostly, what's on all our minds is the situation in Ukraine.
Oh, yeah.
Since we last talked on this cast, Mr. Putin has seen fit to invade a sovereign nation. And I think most of the world is backing Ukraine, as am I.
Yeah.
I think what is going on there reminds me very much of the 30s with Mr. Hitler. Taking over sections of land and I want more, I want more, I want more. And everybody appeases and falls in place. We don't want nuclear war. If we establish a no-fly zone, that could be a tantamount to declaration of war. And everybody's afraid of the nukes. And I don't blame him because Mr. Putin has at his disposal a lot of nuclear weapons. What else is happening? Protest convoys. What are we protesting? All the mandates are being lifted. I think there are a bunch of people who have just got nothing better to do with their time.
Well, hang on.
I know they have a right to protest, but still, what are you protesting? Protest, if you want to protest something, protest Mr. Putin.
And I'm sure that's happening. So let's just take one of these at a time because I agree. But with the protest, let me just say from my point, and then you can expand on yours, is when it first started, I haven't seen the country rally around something. And I've never seen that before. So I got caught up in the, holy shit, we're actually doing something. Because for how many years did you hear this stuff? Oh, fucking gas prices. We should all not buy gas. And we don't do nothing. No. We don't do anything. As Canadians, we sit, bend over, and take it. And for the first time, I went, oh, my God. Did I agree with it? No. But as it got rolling, I couldn't help but cheer for it simply because we stood up. And I'll tell you the other part about the protest that it exposed Trudeau for who he is and what he is. The man cannot answer a question properly or at all.
Well, he's a diplomat.
Whatever. That doesn't give you the right to lie. Or did it? He lied about his COVID case. He didn't have COVID. He hid. All he had to do was go out, face the public as a man, as a leader of a country, and go, guys, you're barking up the wrong tree. You're not getting nothing. You might as well pack up and go. But he didn't do that. He escalated this.
It in the bud, yeah.
He did. He did a lot of stuff wrong. And I think his approval rating right now is, 9%? Or something like
very low. It's
very, very low. And as a Canadian, Steve, you are a proud Canadian. You've been on for how many years have you been on the radio pumping Canada's tires?
Me.
100%. It's like 40 plus years?
Yep.
Are you disappointed in our leadership?
I am. Because
Tell me about that.
I met Justin Trudeau when he was first running, and I thought, there's a man. I shook his hand, and it was a manly handshake, and that impressed me. And you can tell a lot about a person by his handshake.
Oh, 100%.
But as time has gone on, he's disappointed me, no end.
And in what capacity? Like, give me some.
Mamby-pamby.
Were you disappointed in how he handled this whole protest thing and the Ukraine situation?
I'm disappointed in the protesting. He got us through this pandemic nicely, better than the U.S. But.
Some would disagree with that.
Again, well, I can agree to disagree.
No, of course, yeah.
But the Ukraine thing, we've got to be careful. We don't want to push Mr. Putin to the point where he's going to push a button. And he's a madman. He will.
I think he can. My thought on him is this. Yeah, he's a nutbar. There's no doubt about it. But I think he can be reasoned. I think he can be talked to. What scares me is China. If China invades Taiwan,
they're sitting back going,
oh, you know that. If China invades Taiwan, look out. Where
I
this
saw an
this is
interesting
going to be
post on
the
Facebook. The world needs fewer Putins and more Zelenskys.
I don't yeah
And I agree.
I don't
Prime Minister of Ukraine has proven himself to be quite a man.
I don't yeah he is. Well, he took up arms himself, right?
Yeah.
So
And the women are taking up arms. They say, "Hey, it takes me longer to cook borscht than it does to learn how to fire a rifle."
yeah.
I thought, wow,
Yeah.
that's something.
But so what the part that I don't get about this whole incident and stuff is that this isn't something that is just started.
No.
This has been in the works for how long? And I've got to the point now where I'm sick of. My gut was right all along in my whole 56 years of living, because I'm sick of the politicians who I really am. I cannot trust them. I can't. You just don't know what the hell they get back road deals and this and that. Like, none of their stuff they spew makes any sort of sense. And I just don't know who's in bed with who. And then all these conspiracy theorists that I thought were tinfoil hat wearing people years ago. Turns out, like, some of the stuff what they're saying. Like, you know what I mean? Some of it. But again,
Yeah.
the fact that I don't know and don't know who to trust,
My wife
that's
and I rode
scary.
our e-bikes down to the ledge yesterday. We wanted to try out Lisa's bike lanes. They're great. But they had this woman on a megaphone down there. And I thought, shut the hell up.
Yeah. But it is
You
her
don't
right.
have it bad. In this country, it's not that bad. Look at people getting their homes blown to bits and the bombs falling on their heads.
I know, Steve,
You're
but
complaining about paying you pay more for coffee than you do for gas, so shut up.
yeah, I mean, I see how people are financially struggling right now. Like, I do it. It is tough. I went to go look at a place the other day to rent. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be closer to town from moving from Yubo.
Yep.
And it was a garden suite, and it was like maybe 100 square feet, $800.
100 square feet, 800?
$800. And he had
That's
another
a
one for
closet.
1,000. And
That's a glorified closet.
basically, yeah, it was a trailer.
What gets me is our house. Sue and my wife and I own our house. We can get 1.3, 1.4 mil.
I know, so that it doesn't really affect you. You are going to be financially okay. You have assets. For the people that don't really have much, all this war and all the political people and the gas or this carbon tax now, it's just a struggle for a majority of people who are trying to just get through this whole thing, and they would hope that the government would have their back. Meanwhile, they're just sticking it further.
My daughter lives in Souk, and she has to commute to Sydney because she works for ferries.
Yeah.
Every day. She had to get a vehicle with a 3-cylinder engine.
I sold my car.
Turbo, but she saved so much on gas because she used to have a 6-cylinder Toyota Tacoma. And that thing was bulletproof.
But can't you see how people get frustrated and go out with a megaphone, though? Can you not have any sort of empathy for that?
I have some empathy, but shut up. There's other people that are worse off than you.
There's always somebody worse. However,
in this country.
Yeah, I know, Steve, but to have the gonads to go out into the street and do something about it.
Along there and being harassed because I'm wearing.
Were you harassed though?
I'm wearing a mask, so you're Satan.
Oh yeah, yeah. See all of that.
No, I'm wearing it to keep warm.
Yeah, I thought that whole thing got a bit out of this. This whole COVID thing, I'll tell you right now, it exposed a lot of people. I've seen family on family. Yeah. I've seen mother against son and daughter.
It brought out the best and the worst.
The best of COVID for me, if there was a best, was when it first happened. Remember all the videos of people playing music to just out on the street, and they'd get because they had nothing to do. They were everybody had to stay home when it first happened in March of 2000. Do you remember how talented people were and how creative people got? And it was just like that helped me through COVID as far as being entertained and that solidarity with each other. It turned. That wave 2 or wave 3.
Yep.
You've seen Facebook posts, friends unfriended. The nastiness that happened was.
A year ago, I left Facebook because I was so sick of all the vile.
And it's still now the political thing, who you're voting for. Do you remember a time back years ago when you didn't know what your neighbor was, who was voting for or nothing, and everything was all private?
Yep.
Do you remember those days where you
Secret
just
ballot.
accepted the neighbor for the neighbor, but you didn't know who he voted for, what religion he was, all of this stuff? Social media has opened up a can of worms.
Yep.
where you know way too much about the other person and they know way too much about you.
As Stone Cold would say, they've opened up a can of whoop ass.
Whoop ass. Well, but people get caught up in it. People start thinking that what's on Facebook is true.
Yeah.
When they
careful.
When they should realize that, I got a new boat. I got this. I got that. Yeah, you're fucking dead is what you are.
We got caller ID on our phone every day. We got a call from Ontario, Alberta. It's a scam.
Yeah, and
come out of the woodwork.
It's getting. But what are the positive things that you can take away from? Like, what are the positive things that you take away from the protest? Is there anything?
Well, the right to protest. Thank God we have the right. We can protest, but let's keep it civil.
Right, but nothing. You don't think anything good came of that at all?
Well, like the Ottawa one, that wasn't a protest. It turned into an occupation.
Did you believe everything you said about when you heard that they were tearing monuments apart and they were doing all this? Did you believe?
I'm afraid.
Did you believe that they hit the Nazi?
They were desecrating the War Memorial and Terry Fox statues. I was very upset about that.
Desecrated it by putting a Canadian jersey on it?
Yeah, you don't touch it.
Yeah, but it was touched before that, though, Steve. If you don't realize it before, it was touched during the BLK.
Yeah.
It was, nobody said a word then. I don't know why not, because some things are allowed and some things aren't.
And you don't urinate in the National War Memorial. I don't care what.
No, there was stuff, but not a window was broken. There was bouncy castles. There was face painting. There was barbecues. I think as globally, do you know what I took away from this? I didn't agree with the protest. I don't agree with it. But if you're going to dissect it, globally, it put Canada on the map as of all the countries in the world to go to that level. I don't know why little Canada just
did it put us on the map properly? Or
I do. I thought
Canadians.
You go around globally and ask people what they think of Canadian citizens, and I bet you they'll welcome us with open arms. 100%.
You're a whiner.
No, a whiner? No, we showed no. We took up arms with our voice, and that. Do I agree with it? No, I did not agree with it.
No.
However, if you have to, you can't just look at everything bad and negative. You have to take some positive away. And honestly, I believe it's going to help for our future kids and whoever that travels.
Like I said, when they get abusive, that's where I draw the line. And they passersby, being verbally abused.
I think the protesters got just as much back. Like when people are getting trampled by horses and
they're saying you're just nothing but Satan.
Do we know that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on.
I didn't see it.
It was on Czech TV.
Oh well, there you go. If it's on Czech, that's it.
There's a reporter that was walking to work.
Case
she was
closed.
Walking to work, and they were accusing her of being Satan because she was wearing a mask.
I never heard that one, but whatever. I again, to wrap up the protest for now, but it to me, it set for the first time we did something. Yeah. Was it right? No. Was it? But at least we got up. Like I wanted to be on the right side of this thing, right? And what I seen was how do we know what we're allowed to do, not allowed to do, or this when our prime minister won't even answer a question properly? Like, how are we supposed to have dialogue if the leader isn't fucking giving us dialogue back?
I think putting a big F Trudeau on the front of your truck is not the way to go.
No, I think that's that's obviously foolish. I mean, that's it. But again, that's for me to say I have rights and you have rights. Yeah. Then this guy's got to have rights. Do I agree? No.
Did you see that post on the 3 Russian cosmonauts entered the International Space Station wearing blue and yellow spacesuits? I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Putin must be tearing a big one right now.
What do you think was going to solve this thing?
I don't know. Hopefully dialogue.
Have we lost dialogue?
Maybe Biden can talk. If you don't smarten up, I'll use nukes.
Can Biden even talk? Can Biden talk? Like this?
Yeah, he can.
Okay, because
everybody says he's got a speech impediment. He's old. So
does he have a speach impediment?
Yes, he does.
Well, I don't want to make fun of that. I just think he's like Sleepy Joe. I don't know.
If you had the other guy in the office, we'd be a burning cinder right now.
I thought he got along with Putin, didn't he?
Trump, yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Putin got him elected.
Yeah. What about our own country? What do you like? What do you dislike in our own country?
Not much to dislike. We complain about the rain.
Who does?
That's our big complaint.
Oh, is it?
The
in
weather.
Victoria. Now, what do you think? Here's a question for
I
you.
complain about the rain because I can't go on my bicycle.
Why do you think Torontonians are hated out here? And they are.
For me personally, it's because I worked in radio and everything Toronto was shoved down our throat. Because I guess that's where all the big broadcasters are based. I don't hate Toronto. I used to live there. Right? When I was in 1967, I was a Leafs fan.
Yeah.
And when they won the Cup. And Dave Keon won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So cool. And then the Canucks came into the NHL, and that switched my allegiance. You know.
Here's what I think, and I'll tell you about is I've had this debate with many Canuck fans before, and I got it out of them what it is. And when it's specifically when it's Leafs Canucks, and me being the Leaf fan, what. I know, right? And so I deserve it. Every time I think I have a right to chirp, and I do, and I go on Facebook, it always comes back to and fucking bites me in the ass because then they'll lose 10 in a row and everything. I know better than to do this, but I have debated this, and this is what I've come up with. And this is from many, many debates with Canuck fans. I said, why is it you hate us? Because you're always, Leafs go, Leafs go. I said, what bothers you is the fact that how shitty they are and how the 10 seasons in a row without making the playoffs, losing 4-1, missing the first round every year. We come back and cheer louder every time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's annoying. Have you looked at the fact that you only cheer for the Canucks when they're winning? When they're losing, it's nothing but negative. Everything is negative. Fire the coach, fire the GM, this guy's shit, blah, blah, blah. The flags come off the car, all of this stuff.
Not me.
No, there's yeah. But
Somebody
you know what
asked
I'm...
me once, are you still on the Canucks bandwagon? I said, I'm driving the damn thing.
Exactly. The thing is this, though, is they're very fickle. You must admit that.
A lot of them are.
A lot of them
are anyway.
The Leafs aren't for some. It's I don't know what it is. It is this passion that as shitty as they are, and as much as they screw up and like just stick a knife through your heart every year after year, we cheer. We never talk negative about them.
I guess what bugs me when I go to see a Canucks game in Vancouver and they're playing the Leafs. Oh, it's a 4:00 start. Why? Because that's prime time in Ontario. Oh shit! But it's a 7:00
You don't like
start.
4:00 games?
They play at 7:00. Well, they'll play at 4:00 for Toronto. Everybody's got to cater to.
Do you hate the fact that the arena's full of Leaf fans?
No, people have a right to cheer for who they want.
Okay, but is it something that bothers you that you know, because it does bother a lot of people. When you say a "Go Leaf Go" chant in Rogers, it's audible. Like you can hear that watching at home.
Yeah, and then
right?
they go Canucks Go chant.
Oh, no, it drowns it out for sure. Yeah, right. But
that's what fandom is about.
It's one of those teams, Steve, that you can go to any arena, anywhere, and you will find Leaf fans everywhere. You can't say the same thing about the Canucks.
I can. I watched the Canucks games like from Phoenix, from Dallas. People in the crowd wearing jerseys that are Canucks fans. My daughter went to a game.
There'll be a scattering, but I'm not talking sections where like there might be whatever 100 people, but you're not going to start a chant "Go Canucks Go" at an Arizona game and drown out the other one. "Go Coyotes Go."
One year, my daughter was in the soccer academy at her school, and their teachers took them to a Canucks game in Anaheim.
Yeah,
Canucks and Ducks. And they were all in a group in the corner cheering as loud. Oh, it was
I love that.
And they won in a shootout.
That's perfect.
And
I love that.
How good was that?
I love that.
I didn't even know they were going until I got there.
No. What have you noticed a lot of there's more fights lately in the stands and stuff like that? Do you notice that?
Probably COVID. People are getting angry and frustrated.
Well, there's no fans allowed in COVID. But you know, like a lot of like
I've noticed in the stands.
You haven't noticed it? No. Oh, I have. Like there's just almost every week there's some sort of a fight in an NFL game or this game or this. It's just like, it's, I don't know.
I don't know. There was a fight in the Grizzlies game last night, but it was on the ice.
Yeah. How about
Rare.
what's going on with the Grizzlies? What's your update on them?
That was their last home game, their last game of the season.
Okay.
They're in the playoffs against probably Coquitlam, who they played last night.
Coquitlam's big, eh?
Yeah, 2-1 loss.
Yeah.
For the Grizzlies, but it was a good game.
Okay.
The last period was really entertaining.
Yeah.
And,
how many fans do you think?
The place was about almost between a third and a half full.
Okay.
Good
Wow.
crowd. It was a decent crowd. Even Lance Black was on the ice afterwards, thanking the fans for coming out.
Right. Okay.
And it was good. I'm looking forward to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Against Coquitlam, that'll be a
Okay.
tough series.
Yeah. Good stuff. And in the VIJHL, the Coma, how do you not cheer for them? Like they've like you got to, right? I mean, it's an underdog of an underdog, and just
I went to the game where the West Shore Stingers are playing the Peninsula Panthers.
Oh, the West Shore Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Yeah.
And I think the
Panthers are on fire too.
The Wolves got knocked out, but
Yeah.
That was a really good game.
Yeah.
It's a good brand of hockey.
Kerry Park played well this year. I
We
mean,
have good hockey in these parts. We're blessed.
yeah, well, a lot of it though, eh? A lot of hockey. Yeah. But what about anything else? Are you looking forward to lacrosse?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
I'm huge. We've had 2 seasons wiped out by the
I know.
pandemic. Baseball the same with the Harbor Cats.
Yeah.
I look forward to doing their games.
Yeah.
I do a game of the week on Shaw TV
Okay.
for the Harbor Cats. I do a thing after each lacrosse game called On the Off the Cuff with Duff.
Yeah.
For interview a lacrosse player. And
Perfect.
it'll be interesting to see how they go without Bob Hayes as their coach.
Right. We had Bob on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's no longer their coach. So
No.
that'll be interesting.
Who is the coach?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
But I am looking forward to the season.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just seeing that all the fans out and stuff like that.
Place. It's crazy.
Yeah, and but just in general, the sports around people seem to be happier now.
Yeah.
But I find people are still struggling with a lot of repair has to take place.
Oh, it does.
From internal, like from family to there's a lot of strife that took place and a lot of hurt feelings.
I have to give a shout out. 2 friends' sons are playing for the Shamrocks this year.
Who?
Dylan Raymond and Jake Campbell.
Nice.
And they picked up Jake, I think, from Coquitlam.
Okay.
And he's a good scoring machine.
Really?
And Dylan's a big defensive kid. He's a
Right.
big kid.
Kids are big these days,
I don't know
eh?
what his mom and her husband feed him, but it's must be a lot of cow.
But don't you know, if you were 6 foot when I was growing up,
That was big.
that was big.
He's 6'5".
These guys are just monsters.
6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
Jake's a big kid, but he's a big offensive player. He's an
Yeah,
offensive
yeah.
Star.
And they can run though. Their agility, like for big guys, they have all the agility
You
in
got
the
guys
world.
like Ben McCullough, who's 5'10". He's a little spark plug.
Oh yeah. Hard as nails.
I love the guy. He's
Hard
tough
as nails.
nails.
Oh God,
He's the
yeah.
heartbeat of that team.
Yeah, for sure. And good guy too.
Yeah.
Charity does a lot of community stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, big show.
And he's very abrasive, but he's very shy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that about him.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to meet him in a
He's very
dark
humble
alley.
guy.
though.
Don't mess with that guy.
No, that's the quiet
It's
one,
like
Steve.
John Wick. That guy killed 3 guys with a pencil.
What did you do during the pandemic, Steve?
Well, my wife and I bought e-bikes.
Okay.
And I passed 4,000K last week.
Oh wow. Where do you normally go?
Sydney, down the Goose to Stickleback, partway to Souk.
Really? Do you stop in that little? Is that still there?
Yeah.
That little?
And then we just got a bike rack put on our car. So now we can drive with the bikes on the car to further places like
Not on a Mustang.
Kinsale,
Okay.
Kinsale Trestle and whatnot.
Oh wow.
This summer, I think we're going to Kelowna.
On the e-bike?
No, you take the bikes there, and then there's a ride you can do in Benticton, I think.
Okay.
And then there's another one we're going to go to Yuki or Tofino, and there's a beautiful bike path between Yuki and Tofino.
Nice.
That's 30K.
Nice.
And our batteries can go 50, 55K without being charged.
Okay. Well,
Depending on how you use it.
Don't go in August to in the interior when it's like 104. Eh?
No.
I think we're in for one
hot-
hell of a
I
hot
hope it's
summer.
not going to be a fire summer like it was last year.
Well, I hope that every year. But I honestly, it's just something tells me it's just going to be smoking
we
up.
lost the whole town last year.
I know.
They say it's usually the hot spot in Canada. Well, last year it sure was.
Yeah, no kidding. Eh? Are they going to rebuild that? I don't even know.
Yes.
Are they for sure? Yeah.
And there are
Good
plans
stuff.
afoot now to rebuild it.
They are going to
I
rebuild
would
it.
love to see a comeback of towns like that. Small town Canada.
Yeah,
like it.
It is my bucket list one day to go through. I watch a lot of YouTube because I'm on YouTube, but I watch a lot of YouTube because I find it just like a lot of BC, like a lot of little gold mines and towns and abandoned places, and I love that shit. Like I'm ghost towns and
tourists.
Yeah. Can you imagine what it would be like pioneer days living like
wow.
we think we have it tough now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to go to the store and get their little, I'll see you next week.
Yeah. When I was 11, my parents and I moved across Canada from Montreal. We drove the car and camped our way across the country. And we stopped to visit my dad's.
That'd be cool.
My dad's, I think, aunt in David, Saskatchewan, which is halfway between Regina and Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And you go to that town and the main street is gravel.
Yeah.
Wooden sidewalks.
I know.
One silo.
Wicked.
And it's really, and I thought, this is so cool.
Yeah, I'm into that.
I was 11, and it stayed in my mind.
What was that show years ago? Those two old guys it was called
Secondhand Lions?
No, it was called something. Those two guys, and all they did was talk BC history.
Oh,
something in gold mines or something.
Yeah.
Trails and blazers and gold mines or.
Yeah, they got a show on now. The guy rides the train across Canada. That looks
really
interesting. Yeah.
You know what I just watched? It was on TV, BLK, and it was about the how the blacks came to Victoria.
Yes.
I had zero idea. Like the U.S. would have, according to that show, the U.S. would have invaded Canada had it not been for the blacks coming from the States, from California when they were
I don't
enslaved.
think people realize that Victoria has a very large black community.
Bricks
around the wall of the inner harbor.
Yeah, and a lot of dirty underbelly shit happened to them. Like when they went to Salt Spring and that Dunsmuir, all of a sudden that guy disappeared. He's found in a cave or at the bottom of the rocks, and because he didn't want to give up his. But yeah, there's a lot of.
Every place has a dirty underbelly.
Yeah, it does. You're right, it does. But it just seems that out in the West, it was just.
It seems like every day we're taking down a statue of somebody.
Well, that's just it, right?
And I think you can't erase history by erasing history.
Do you agree with what she did about Sir John A. Macdonald?
Well, no, I don't.
No.
I think we should have put a plaque up or a sign up that says he also, invented residential schools. He also did this. But you don't, to bury history, we're doomed to repeat it. I honestly believe that.
I have to agree with you on that one. He may have done. No, he did do some, some very questionable stuff. But at the same time, you have to look at the day and the time and this and this and this, right? So,
right.
Do you think another mayor will replace that?
I don't know.
What would you do if you were a mayor?
I'd replace it probably with a big plaque stating what he didn't do or the negatives.
Right.
I don't agree with them tearing down the statue of Vancouver on the inner harbor.
No.
I thought that was just
it's offside too.
Thuggish.
If you could be mayor of one of the 13 municipalities here, which one would you pick?
I don't know. There's so many. I would.
Well, which one would you prefer?
I don't think I want to be mayor at all. I don't.
No, but if you had to.
Oh, if I had to, be Victoria, I guess.
Would it be Victoria?
I'd clean it up.
It needs it.
It needs it badly. When I first arrived here in '76, Victoria was a beautiful, clean gem.
Yep.
I think it's deteriorated into a cesspool.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're right.
It's an enabling government or municipal government.
You're right.
And people ask people, who'd you vote for in the last municipal election? I didn't vote. Then shut up. Don't complain.
Yeah. Well,
that's the grassroots
hang on,
of what
Steve,
you do.
hang on.
That's the grassroots of what you do. That's where your money goes.
I get it, but here's the thing. I used to firmly believe that, and then I was reminded that is a protest of not voting, because if your vote is getting, like, remember they said if they split this, if you did this, it's going to be a split. If you team up with this, that's a split vote. Blah 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 blah. I don't know enough about politics clearly, but I find it almost more pleasurable in my head if I didn't vote, because I don't like any or trust any of them.
Well, we must agree to disagree. I mean, our forefathers died so we could have that right.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have died in vain.
Okay, but hear me out, Steve. When we're voting federally, our votes don't count out here. It's 6:30 at night, and it's already been called.
Yeah, I know.
We're in line at the polling stations. Liberals won. Fucking, that's it.
Why BC is all NDP.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter who. Like, it's Ontario and Quebec rule what the government's going to be.
That's geography.
Well, however, but I mean, so if we have the right to vote and our decision matter, or our votes count, then I believe that it should go on votes and not on seats, right? So, like I don't know how many times last year or when he called the election, it was 6:45. My buddy goes, "Where are you?" And I said to him, "Where are you?" He goes, "I'm voting." I go, "Why?" It's over. He won again. You know, doesn't that piss you off?
It does.
So that's what I'm saying about, like, why bother me standing in line, doing my diligence as a Canadian citizen, when my vote, your vote, and any other vote out here isn't going to fucking matter.
But municipally and provincially, our vote does matter.
Yeah, it does. But who's running the ship? Papa.
Whoever we vote
Papa
for.
in Ottawa. You know, that's basically, really.
I saw somebody post a picture of stop. What was it? It was a stop sign that says, "Stop organized crime." And it said, "Yeah, we have it so bad out here, don't we?"
Yeah. How do you think he did during this pandemic, Horgan?
John Horgan, I thought he did very well.
Yeah.
I'm biased. He's a friend of mine.
No, I understand. Here's the other thing, though, with looking back at it now. I don't think they knew exactly how this was at first. Like, when they were saying stuff, and I remember Bonnie Henry for this, Bonnie Henry, and then after like year two, it was just like, people stopped listening.
Yeah.
People got fed up. People stopped listening, and they're like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I don't think. Do you think she was a puppet for the government?
No, to a point, but not really. No.
I think she was put in a really shitty situation.
Under her guidance, I think a lot of people found comfort.
I think so at first, but I think at the end it weaned off, and then she became kind of more of a target.
But sending death threats to her is not the answer.
Oh fuck! That's offside on that. That's offside. If that happened, I don't know, but if that happened, that's way offside. There's no need of that.
Because John Horgan's a huge lacrosse.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And he said, "See those two people over there? There was a man and a woman. That's my security detail. Don't tell anybody."
Yeah.
I thought, wow, they look like they could take care of
themselves. They're big boys. Yeah.
A man and a woman.
Yeah. No.
And a woman, don't mess with the woman.
Yeah. No. I remember who was that guy that got caught in Hawaii drinking?
Oh, that was Gordon Campbell, wasn't it?
Campbell. Yeah. So I'm taking Harbor Air to Vancouver, and what was I doing? Oh, doesn't matter. But anyways, I had a Leaf hat on, and I get on the plane and down at the Inner Harbor, and he's on the plane, and there's one seat left.
Campbell?
Yeah, he's in the back, and there's one seat, and I'm like, oh, but I didn't know who it was,
yeah.
Right? It's because I don't care. I don't give a shit. And I sat down beside him, and there's these two burly, I mean, they're huge, and they all had the earpiece and the white little cord, the pig's tail cord, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, this guy, whatever. But he didn't look like he was, he wasn't in a suit or nothing, and Leaf fan, eh? And I go, that's right, buddy, Leaf fan. I said, you Canuck? He goes, oh, yeah, die hard. And I go, geez, you must have it tough. But that was in around the days where you guys were doing really well, like, making it to the, to Stanley Cup finals, and that's Sedin era and all that stuff. Or is that just whatever? But you were doing well. Yeah. And anyways, we start bantering back and forth. And I'm not giving a shit. I'm swearing. I'm like, fuck their shit and all that. And I'm doing all this. And then when we got off the plane, before we got off the plane, I made him a bet. The next Leaf game, we're coming up, right?
Yep.
Just in jest. And then he gets off the plane in the detail, and he's got this great big limo. And at the roundabout where you got to go around, you got to go up a hill to walk. And he goes, you're on for $1. And I'm like, whatever, buddy, who are you anyways? And then it wasn't until after I realized who it was, right? But just a down-to-earth guy, and like Horgan is.
Yeah.
Like John is he's in the community.
Yeah. That's the neat thing about my radio days. I got to meet some pretty big shot people.
Yeah.
Met Christy Clark,
Yeah.
He goes, ugh. I said, are you kidding? To get hugged by the premier of the province is so cool.
Really?
Arguing about the Sedines is so cool.
Yeah. That's I get. It's. See, I'm not that guy. I'm not a jersey chaser. I'm not a celebrity. Whatever.
I used to be.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, I go to the Grizzlies game now, and people say, "Miss you on the radio, man."
That's
8 years ago.
Yeah,
Still, it's not the same without you.
No. Yeah, people don't like change, like when it's a comfort to them, like listening to, whether you like them or not. Like if you like listening, people don't like change. Yeah. But
a week after I got let go, the guys on Check had me, that Game On show.
Yeah. Is that still on?
Yeah, well, they replaced it with The Upside, right?
Oh, okay.
And Jeff King and Kevin Schrack had me on. I said, oh, great, we get to talk about my favorite subject. What's that? Me.
There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. What, do you miss any of your days back in the CFAP?
The only thing I don't miss is getting up at 2:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
But I do miss being out there.
Were you able to remain friends with the staff?
I haven't seen them.
At all?
No.
They never reached
I
out?
saw Ryan Price once at a ball game.
Is it uncomfortable to see him?
No, I don't care.
For them?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
What about Al? What about Al?
I see him at the odd hockey game or a lacrosse game when he does the anthem.
Yeah.
And I say hello. We talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
for 2 years there, I didn't talk because he unfriended me and everything. I thought, what the heck for?
Why do you think he did that?
I think because he didn't want Big Boys and Bell to see that he was still associating with a fired person. It would have looked bad on him, I think. That's my theory.
Jesus. That has to hurt. Did that hurt?
It did. I just thought...
Because you and him are tight, no?
No. We worked together at CKDA in the basement.
How long ago was that?
Oh, God, in the 70s, 80s.
You worked so you worked with Farabee that long?
Yeah. And then we worked together finally at CFAP.
Did you ever ask him why he unfriended you?
No. I just don't care anymore.
No, not anymore. Yeah. Well, you got a better gig now.
I theorize that's the reason.
You got a better gig now on Raw.
I think it was a CYA move.
Really?
Cover your ass.
And didn't they just go through another dump there?
Oh,
is this a yearly thing that they do?
Every year, a week after the Bell Let's Talk, they dump people. I remember one year, Dan Murphy, who's the host of the Canucks broadcast, he says, this really sucks. I know they're the competition. That's when they closed Team 1040.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't Myra Lawrence on that?
No.
I thought she was on TS.
She was on Sportsnet Radio.
TS, yeah.
And then she left and went back to
Korea. So you think this is a belt? Like this is
I think it's a cost-cutting move. I think the pencil pushers in Toronto.
Yeah.
Want to save money. CFAX, they don't need a sports guy. I wasn't a sports guy. I was a news guy.
You were a news guy for sure. That just got the piece of paper with sports on it. Yeah.
But what bugs my wife is the fact that I know a lot of stuff in Jeopardy, and she says, "How do you know this stuff?" I said, "I'm old."
What about Andrew Johnson? I heard he went to Vancouver.
I don't know. I haven't been keeping track.
Yeah, he went to CTV Vancouver. So So
he's a face.
Yeah, for sure. Totally. Well,
it's like when Joe went to Czech. I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
I said to him,
I was shocked when he did that.
I said, "You finally got out of that toxic environment."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah." Didn't seem to want to admit it, but.
Well, he probably, yeah.
When
are you under the gun when you work for a corporation like that? Do you really see? I couldn't do it. Like
I was very lucky. I was given pretty much free rein to what to say.
Okay.
And Kevin Bell was a sales manager. He gave me crap once because I said that the Wendy's Baconator was a heart attack on a bun. He says, "You can't say that."
No way. So when you were on radio doing sports, could you say the Grizzlies were at the Q Center?
Yep.
You could say the Q.
Yeah. Kevin Bell didn't like it, but I said, that's like saying GM Place, and if you're driving a Ford, so what? Or Rogers Arena,
Yeah.
That's the difference.
But was it frowned upon?
I shop at Thrifty's. I'm going to the Save on Foods Memorial Center.
Was it frowned upon, though?
I used to call it the Arena in Colwood.
That's what you had to say?
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to say Q because they're competitors.
And I used to work at the Q.
Right.
And now when the last few years after Kevin left, I started saying it again. It was fine. Everybody knew what I was talking about.
Well, that's the name of the building.
It's a building. It's the name of the place. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Yeah. Maybe CTV should have stepped up and bought the name rights. Hey. Do you miss it?
I do. Like I say, I miss being out there. I don't miss getting up for the ungodly hours, but I do miss being out there.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is a nice way to kind of get back.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, you're appreciated on here.
I got a big mouth.
You're appreciated on here. Well, Steve, that is our very first episode of What's on Your Mind This Week, Duff.
Wowee.
So that went by pretty fast, eh?
It did.
So
and
next
I appreciate it because I'm having trouble lining up guests.
Yeah, well, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do.
I can't get there. Well, I can come drive you, and I don't hear from them.
No, well, and the other thing too is that like it's this kind of show and this platform is well, did we rehearse this at all? Like we figured this out 2 minutes before.
Sat down and started yakking.
I know, right?
I love it.
So, but a lot of this is intimidating to some, where it's just like, oh boy, he might swear, he might like. This is very much a YouTube thing, and it's way different than any other platform people are on. However, it's also really brutally honest.
Everybody knows where you're coming from.
That's it, and good or bad or this or that. But there's a lot of people can't talk because of either what they do or they're going to think that, they're if I believe in this, I'm going to get vilified. I can understand it, but at the end of the day, people if they're going to talk behind your back, they're going to talk behind your back
anyways. I was still
anyways.
working on radio, I probably couldn't do this.
Oh, God, no. Oh, well, first of all, Steve, they wouldn't let me on radio to do this, so you definitely wouldn't be. It's like, you know what I mean?
He has an opinion, we can't have that.
You can't. Well, you got a fucking opinion here, Steve. So that's week 1 in the books of...
Raw Podcast.
Now.
Oh, what's on your mind?
This week, Duff. Fuck it, no. All right. And with that, we're going to shut her down, and... we thank you for tuning into this, and we'll see you next time around. Good night.